What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and we need to talk about the state of play. I want to talk about the fans' frustration, the people being upset, and I honestly do not blame them at all. I guess I should start this video off by saying I get it. I'm not here to scold you or to say anything against you. I'm kind of with you, and I would say most of the way. What I will say, just very briefly, is I don't think it was the worst thing I've ever seen in my life, and I don't think I downright hated it, but it definitely wasn't the scale, scope, size, any of the S words that we thought that it could possibly be. I think that's really the center of my argument for even this video. I don't think there's anything wrong with having shows necessarily like this. Now, granted, you could just say, well, can't these guys just put these videos on YouTube, and then can't Sony or Microsoft or whatever, can't they just retweet it and highlight it that way? I think a lot of these games you could do that, or a game like Five Nights at Freddy's, which was probably the best thing that was shown and the biggest thing in terms of a release date and all that stuff. Couldn't they have just done it on their own? Five Nights at Freddy's is a big name. It doesn't really need a Sony state of play, right? So those are arguments I 1000% would agree with. But I don't think having a collection of having a show with a collection of these games is necessarily the worst thing ever, necessarily makes it bad. I guess a couple of things is the reason why this one sucked. I would say more than maybe any of the other ones. Number one, well, of course, the elephant in the room is no big games, right? And now, granted, that is all based off of expectations and hype, and I'm not gonna say really much more than that because I'm sure people will get mad, as they always do. But the general point is also, actually, it couples with this. Sony wasn't good enough at all at clarifying what the kind of show, or what kind of show this would be. Okay, that's actually why people started to go. Normally, right, if they say, well, this game's not going to be there, that game's not, you can start to figure out maybe what kind of size the show is going to be. But Sony, all they said was 20 minutes. It was going to be third-party games. That's pretty much it, right? And they left the open release window, 2021, 2022. It doesn't matter when these games are coming out. Now, that does factually open the door for Hogwarts, for Gotham Knights, for, name your game, right? Now, again, expecting the game to be there, and if you're just expecting, say, Hogwarts Legacy, and it's not there, and you hate them, I can see parts of that, I cannot see parts of that, but the general idea that I would agree with is they were not clear whatsoever with what kind of show, beyond that. They did say the general criteria, but they should have said, this is more of an, now, this is not really an insult. In fact, in the modern gaming world, it's not an insult. Calling it an indie show is not a bad thing, and actually would have very much set people's expectations where it should have been, right? If you go in and you say, okay, all of these games are smaller games. Now, again, though, what classifies as an indie game? What classifies as an indie studio? Do some of these developers get upset, right? If you say this entire show is just indies, does, just name, just Little Devil Inside, do they get mad at that? I don't know. I don't actually know. But I do think it's fair to call all of the games shown smaller. And then on top of that, so that's a huge part of it, right? Sony was not good enough in saying it, and that really left the door open for people to expect whatever. But on top of that, the actual show, again, I don't think I hated it. I don't think it was the worst thing I've ever seen, but the quality was probably the worst out of any Sony show, maybe any show we've seen in a long time, in many years. There just wasn't any standout. I know there was actually a couple people that made this comment that I really agree with. When I watch these shows, one of my favorite things, or one thing that I kind of expect in the back of my head, is just let me walk out of here wanting to buy one of these games, or several of them, whether it's a game we've seen before or we haven't seen before. The issue is this show didn't really do that at all, and that's coming from me, someone who is actually into I'm actually kind of the perfect person for this kind of show because I'm into a lot of different things. If you're only into shooters, or you're just into Gotham Knights, or you're into just I don't know, God of War, obviously a show like this isn't going to be for you no matter what. But I am fine with these games. But the issue is Little Devil Inside, it looks solid, but no release date. Five Nights at Freddy's, it didn't look amazing. It looked good. Again, I would say that was the biggest thing. But that's the biggest thing. Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach. No, I'm not a big Five Nights at Freddy's fan. I'm going to give it a chance. I like what I've seen so far. But that was kind of the standout. Oh, I guess that Deception game, but again, I actually already forgot the name, and I try to make a mental note to remember it. That Deception game that comes out on PlayStation Plus, you get it for free. That looked cool, but like, okay, well, you get it for free if you have PS Plus, which I do, so it's not that big of a deal. And that was kind of it. Everything else literally didn't make an impact, on me at all. And again, that comes from me, someone who likes to give a lot of different games, no matter the size, a chance. So that's, I think, I don't want to speak for you. I'm not speaking for you. You can speak for yourself in the comments, but I would like to think those two reasons are kind of the main reasons people feel, beyond just saying, I wanted Hogwarts and it wasn't there, right? That's a very simplistic, reason, I guess, to get mad. And I'm not saying, by the way, that that's a terrible reason to get mad, but, I think what it really boils down to is people were expecting things, some of it, yeah, I'm not saying, all of it was on Sony. Some of it's on people, some of it's on me, some of it's on you for getting excited for a specific thing. But yet again, like I said, Sony they weren't specific enough. Now, maybe, I like to leave it open for surprises. I don't mind them, I don't want a detailed breakdown of every single game that's going to be at any show, right? I want there to be some surprise things. But I mean, they could have said a little bit. I guess the first hint was that we were going to see an in-depth look at Little Devil Inside, which when we saw that, I did tweet out, like, okay, is this the scale of the show, or is this the scope of the show? Yeah, it kind of was. Could you get that from the PlayStation tweet? Yeah, but I think you could have gotten, you could have used more. And then again, second part to it is just it wasn't good at all. It wasn't all that good. I think there wasn't that standout. There wasn't that Sifu. There wasn't Stray. There wasn't Ghostwire Tokyo. There wasn't Kana. Those kind of scaled games. There was none of those. Again, the biggest one I would say was Five Nights at Freddy's and Little Devil Inside, which actually, at least visually and maybe in my interest, was the highest. But they gave no release date. It could come out in 2 years from now. We don't even know. So that's just pretty upsetting, and that kind of turns me off from that game, at least for today, at least for right now. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Make sure you're subscribed, bell icon turned on. If you want to follow me on any of my social media, I have Twitter, I have a second channel. We also have Patreon and YouTube memberships. Links for all of them are in the description below. Thank you for watching, guys, and I'll see you all on the next video.